Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I am B. Today, I want to talk about a phenomenon I call the Are You Sure tests. I have mentioned it once or twice before, but I wanted to go deeper into it because I'm currently experiencing it. For those of you that know, my background is many moons ago in Addictions Counselling. And I used what I learned then in combination with all of my spiritual teachings that I have accumulated from every corner of the globe to find myself out of many addictive behaviors. So first, let's just review that addiction, in my opinion, is not a disease. It is a response to trauma. When we have trauma, it is lodged in our bodies and we experience any number of physiological and emotional and mental symptoms because of the trauma that was experienced at a younger age when we were too young to be able to cope with the situation. So our nervous system went into its automatic fight or flight response and stored that memory, as in like having a zip file, shut it down, locked it away, and then it spent the rest of our lives keeping that in shadow, keeping that memory as far away from us as possible. But it would bubble to the surface now and again with emotional flashbacks or triggers or similar circumstances and situations that would elicit that automatic nervous system response to stress, to whatever the situation was. And so through our lives, we're like, well, geez, I can't cope when I have all these responses, whether it be fear, anxiety, depression. And society goes and says to you and further exacerbates the problem by not understanding trauma and diagnosing you with a disorder. Well, you're not in order, so you must be disordered. Instead of understanding that you're actually perfectly in order, your body is doing its natural processes of responding how it's supposed to, with emotional releases to help clear that stuff out. Except we go, oh no, I'm having anxiety. I shouldn't have anxiety. Anxiety is wrong. Take this pill, smoke this joint, smoke this cigarette, drink this drink, go have sex with a random stranger, go gamble, go shop, go work, go micromanage my life because I need to keep all of these emotions, these natural responses under wraps because to experience them would be absolutely terrifying. So I had a lot of trauma and I shoved that trauma deep down into anywhere and everywhere in my body that could be stored. Had massive thighs, massive. There was a lot of junk in my trunk, the glutes and all. I've been working on the glutes for 5 solid years and low back pain and hips, psoas, piriformis, all of these kind of muscles stored it. Some people store a lot of their memory of their traumas in the flanks, in our lower region. So root chakra, sacral chakra, squeezing everything in, holding tight onto everything. Some people store their stress higher up in their upper back and the feeling like the weight of the world is on their shoulders and neck and clenched teeth. Yeah, lots of clenched teeth going on here, which exacerbated my condition here. But so we store our stress, we hold on to it for dear life, and then we desperately find ways to soothe ourselves because the feelings that bubble to the surface are so overwhelming. And that's because at the time they were overwhelming. Even though now we probably have the capacity to handle it because it's been locked away for so long, when it surfaces as an emotional flashback, it is debilitating and it reverts us back into what I call child mind. All of a sudden you're 5 years old again and you're responding like a 5-year-old. Maybe you're having a temper tantrum. Maybe you throw something at your wife. Maybe you're slamming the horn on the car and telling somebody to F off on the road. You know, we respond reaction, and then we're like, oh no, look at how I'm responding. I shouldn't be like that. Oh dear, I really need to calm the hell down and go and have a shot when I get home. Or, you know, my father used to come home every single day and have 2 whiskeys. You know, so everybody has their little things to cope. Except it's not really coping. It's just delaying. It's just pushing down the path further and further and not dealing with it. So it's not actually coping, because coping would be taking the time to stop and deal with it. But unfortunately, none of us were taught how to do that. Emotions weren't something that it was safe to be able to express. Oftentimes people weren't allowed to say to their parents that they were angry about how their parents were behaving. Trust me, I tried. That got me hit. So, okay, not allowed to express anger will result in a greater degree of punishment. Shut that shit down. Find ways to mask. Bite my fingernails. You know, have a temper tantrum when it like blows up too much. And maybe we weren't allowed to express our displeasure, our upset. You know, why are you hurting me? I'd get spanked and I'd be told, this hurts me more than it hurts you. What? So now I'm supposed to elicit empathy for my abuser, and then we're supposed to forgive our abusers. So we learn these cycles of gaslighting that just basically one after another shut down our emotional center. And when we shut down our emotional center, it is no different than if we said to ourselves, I'm only going to urinate once a month. Yes. That would be painful and difficult, and I'm sure we could try many, many pharmaceuticals and many bizarre coping mechanisms to prevent us from urinating, you know, many numbing agents, or maybe we'd have to wear like a nappy or something to keep that all in, because we're not allowed to urinate except once a month. That's the exact same thing as when we say to ourselves that we're not allowed to emote. So we go through life, we have trauma. Then we have emotions on top of the trauma that are associated with the trauma that we repress. Then, because we're repressing the emotions, we need to find coping strategies to deal with the emotions that we're repressing, because we're not dealing with the trauma. And so we seek anything and everything. Okay, so this is the birthplace of addiction. My life feels like shit. I feel miserable. I don't want to be here. Okay, doctor, there's something wrong with me. I don't want to live anymore. Oh, here, have an antidepressant. Here, have an anti-anxiety med. Here, go to the store. Everyone else is smoking. At 15, I started. 14 or 15, I started smoking. I had 1 cigarette. I walked myself to the store within the hour and bought myself a pack. That's how quickly that happened. I was like, oh my God, for the first time, I feel good. I feel fantastic. Sure, it tastes like shit, but who cares? Man, this feels good. And then it was alcohol next. Oh my God, the social anxiety. Are they going to like me? Or what if I'm going to get bullied some more? I don't want to get bullied. I need to fit in. I need to be accepted. Oh my God, give me a drink. I feel better now. So we have addictions because it feels better now. We don't do it because it doesn't feel good. We do it because we feel like shit, and then we feel less like shit. We feel better. It feels good. Maybe it's a joyous occasion, and let's eat this cake. It's delicious. Let's reward ourselves with sugar. And sugar is one addiction that is an early childhood addiction. It's the fastest addiction because we give it to our kids by age 2 or earlier. Here, have this sucker. Shh. Have that. Have some ice cream. Go now. Here's 2 cookies. Go play. Go watch some TV. Go do this. Oh, so now we're teaching distraction. We're teaching all kinds of this. And listen, I'm as guilty as anybody else. There's no blame. There's no shame. There's no like, you've done something wrong. We did the best we could. We were in exceedingly difficult energies because of the trauma, because of the repressed emotions, and because of like being left in a state of absolute devastation. We needed to find some way to live. And so we found ways to live. Maladaptive ways? Yes. But that was the only option that was handed to us. We didn't have people showing up to us and saying, hey, this is your hour of counseling time to express your emotions about how you're feeling about your family. We weren't given that. We weren't given art therapy or play therapy or therapy. Therapy was actually denied to me, even though I had been admitted into hospital at age 16 for very superficial wounds, attempted suicide. So I was denied counseling after that. So that was just another shame that I needed to carry. So we had no choice. It was, and then the addiction sets in because the feeling better that we get out of whatever substance or activity or action that we take when we're feeling feelings that we no longer want to feel, we become disassociated from our feelings, becomes a dependency. We need it. It's like, oh no, an anxiety is arising. I need to shut this down. I need the buffer. I need the mute button. I need the feel good, immediate, quick fix. Take this pill and I'll feel better. Lorazepam was great at that. When I was in cycles of extreme depression, they put me on antidepressants many times over the last 30 years. And when things were particularly bad, here, you can have this lorazepam. You put that under your tongue. And I used to call that pill mother's milk because it would just be like, everything's fine. It's fine. I'm chill. It's great. And then when I gave up pharmaceuticals, pot became my, everything's fine. Everything's chill. It's medicinal. It's good. But what wasn't I doing? I still wasn't feeling any emotions. And I particularly wasn't feeling any of the fearful, anxiety, or other emotions. Pot helped facilitate me through the grief for a long period of time. But once the anxiety and the fear kicked in this awakening process, as Kundalini popped it was like all these little fat cells in my body were storing fear and anxiety and PTSD symptoms and overwhelm and panic and paranoia and doomsdaying, and Kundalini went through and it was like pop, and then my system would get flooded with fear and my system would get flooded with anxiety. And so the natural response then was to look for something outside of myself. And what is happening to me right now is an interesting phenomenon that should be talked about and discussed, because you can look at me and go, wow, look at her. She's awesome. She quit tobacco. She quit caffeine. She quit alcohol, pharmaceuticals, sacred medicines, which I was trying to bypass with those. She quit microdosing. She quit sugar, dairy, gluten, and she quit trauma bonds. The worst addiction of all. The worst addiction of all. And then she had to learn how to be sober. Because when we are learning how to be sober, sorry, I'm going to plug in here. We need to replace our coping strategies with something else, healthier coping strategies. So I started replacing things with walking, with sunshine therapy, with grounding, with cold showers. I've done a video a while back called like my top 50 healing tools. Please, I'll find that actually, and I'll link it to this. I think it was actually 50, over 50. I think it was like 88 or something. So I would find all these other coping strategies and coping tools to help deal with the emotional releases as they've been coming. Now, this last 4 days has been PTSD inducing, like no get out. Another round of Dark Night of the Soul has squeezed out way more feelings of shame surfaced, and we had nervousness and being judged surfacing. We had fear surfacing. We had child mind activated of like, how am I going to cope? How am I going to do anything? How am I going to survive? Because that's the old program that's like connected into some of these emotions. And so I had to start going through my repertoire of like, okay, let's try slow breathing. Let's try meditation. Let's try a soothing bath. Let's try a cold shower. Let's try chamomile tea. Let's try soothing music. Let's try aromatherapy. So I've been going through my repertoire and nothing has been working. Nothing has been working as fast as lorazepam worked. Of course it hasn't. And so what Spirit has been doing, and whether this is probably for my own good or not, is it's felt like being taunted because it's a reminder of, do you remember when you smoked, how good you felt? Do you remember how it was when you were like lying cuddled in somebody's arms, even though that somebody was an abuser? So this false sense of safety, because that's really what it boils down to, is when the nervous system is being fried through Kundalini as energy is purging everything out of it and popping all these like memories and releasing trauma, and inner child wounds are surfacing, and all your shadow stuff is surfacing, and it's overwhelming to no get out. And you're like, oh, geez, yeah. Temptation. Oh, do you remember how good it felt to smoke? Oh, yeah. Do you remember how good it was to like have a shot of alcohol? My drink of choice was tequila because it was fast acting and boof, give you that warm feeling all the way down. Do you remember how it felt to be held? Oh, that felt so good. That felt so good. So it's like this temptation is coming along to say, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to revert back to old ways of being? Are you sure that you can manage this and heal this on your own? Are you sure? And so I have found along this process that you get these are you sures, even it's funny because some of the are you sures I've been having men get into my DM lately, and I'm like, no. It's like, are you sure you don't want to just grab hold of relationship? These people are interested in you, and you could savor and get that codependent activation reactivated so that you could get that false sense of safety, that false sense of being protected. And I'm like, nope, block, nope, block. Like I'm not interested in doing the old, but don't be delusional in thinking that when you quit things, when you give up your coping strategies, that it won't come back around again to say, are you sure? And this is where people fall off the wagon, okay? And this is where we get into trouble, because initially when you quit something, it feels fantastic. It feels amazing. It's like, I am doing this. I am empowered. I can do anything. If she can do it, I can do it. I've read Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Smoking. I'm motivated. I'm going to go out for my walk. I've got that New Year's Day vibe of like, this year is going to be different. So understand that at first, when you quit something, you're going to have a lot of adrenaline and a lot of motivation and a lot of encouragement. And then life is going to start to settle in again. And you're going to have issues and you're going to have triggers. And when those triggers come, you're going to be like, oh no, now what do? I don't have coping mechanisms in place yet. So the first thing you do is try to implement coping mechanisms, and they're not going to be as effective. They're not. I am sorry. I have been dealing with like a dysregulated nervous system now for years after, all the crazy that went down 2 years ago. And, it's so disappointing for me that, I have to do another round of this, another round of feeling burnt out, another round of dysregulation, another round of fear and terror. And, and this breathing isn't working fast enough. It's not. And this meditation isn't calming me fast enough. And these acupressure points and this EFT tapping and all these other techniques, they are not going to be as effective as that instantaneous chemical hit of a substance or that instantaneous chemical hit of a narcissistic connection. And this is where, I want to send off a million warnings, like alarm bells ringing in the nth degree, is narcissistic abuse chemically hijacks your brain. That means it is a chemical dependency, and the chemical is in your brain as opposed to an exterior substance that you use. It is a chemical hijacking of your brain's chemistry so that you get a dopamine hit. Oh, that feels good. Oh, it feels good. I'm safe. Yeah, I'm held. I'm safe. And then chaos. And then adrenaline hit. Oh my God. Oh, I'm feeling nervous. Geez, they're telling me these bad things are happening. Their work situation is in crisis. They're talking about a legal situation that they don't have in control. They're leaving a mess. They're argumentative. They're raging. And then, oh, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Okay, so this chemical addiction has been the hardest for me to purge from my body, because my whole life relationship and dependency upon narcissistic individuals, and that goes back to my mother for close to 50 years. 50 years, I was enmeshed and made to feel dependent, even financially dependent upon her. She owned my home. There was a constant intermeshed dependency that was built into the system, and there was zero boundaries, zero privacy, zero encouragement to hey, get off on your own 2 feet. You can do it. I have faith in you. There was, you can do nothing. You are incapable. You are unlovable. Look what good things I'm doing for you by keeping you completely and utterly enmeshed. And then I'm going to encourage you to stay in a toxic and abusive relationship, because that keeps you further destabilized. So between the two of them, I went from being relatively healthy for the decade that I was in another continent. That's how far I had to go. I was in another continent on my own, lonely as hell, but healthy. And then I come back to Canada and look at the difference. Look at the devastation that happened to my body. I put on over 130 pounds. I had diabetes, fibromyalgia, which are inflammatory responses because my body was shutting down. I had peripheral neuralgia, chronic pain. I had an undiagnosed chronic pain situation here. I had brain fog, depression, memory loss. They tried everything and everything to try to diagnose me with agoraphobia, try to diagnose me with general anxiety disorder, tried to diagnose me with major depressive disorder, tried to diagnose me with, it was like, here, just keep collecting more and more diagnoses, but nobody was identifying the fact that I was being abused. Every single day for over a decade, I was being abused, and my body was responding to toxicity by getting sick, because that's what the body does. And so I was blind, and this is this hijacking that happens because it's like your brain is split in two, and you're like, everything is fine, everything is fine. Look, dopamine hit, oh, dopamine hit. I'm getting, oh, he's telling me everything's going to be okay. He's going to take care of me. It's going to be fine. Meanwhile, I'm doing all the taking care of, because then the next thing, there's crisis, there's this, there's that, there's debt, there's problem, there's this threat, that threat, this crisis, that crisis, there's reactionary abuse. And then it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. So we shut down, through the processes of abuse, our ability to see abuse. We stay in abuse, and then we stay getting these dopamine hits, thinking that, oh, this is okay, this is okay. So when you're going through the process of leaving a toxic relationship, leaving an addiction behind, leaving and letting go of toxic behaviors and habits, maybe it's disassociating and spending 15 hours just scrolling, or, zoning out and staring into space and like, oh, where did the last 5 hours go? Or, working to extreme, because all of these things work for us. And when Kundalini comes along, or your spiritual awakening comes along and says, you are so far out of balance energetically here, and here, we're going to take these maladaptive coping mechanisms away from you, and we're going to force you into the opposing energy so that you can eventually come back into balance. So if you work too much, you're going to be forced to rest. If you are overly social and busying yourself in public with people and drinking, we're going to take the drinking away, and we're going to take the socialization away, and you're going to learn what it is to be with self. If you are in an energy of gambling, you're going to lose money, and you're not going to have the capacity to gamble until you bring yourself back into neutrality. You see how this works? So this is the collapsing of duality. Duality said, this is what's happened. So here's our center point where this is alignment. And trauma happens, and it's like, fing, a piece of us goes over here. Fing, an energetic piece of us goes over here. And now we're in a dualistic place. Now we're like standing over here, and we're high on our horse, maybe with judgment about something and someone, because our crown chakra, our third eye chakra is out of alignment, and we're maybe sitting in spiritual ego. I did a video on that recently. Or we've got religious, very staunch ideas. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. So you're way out of alignment, right? So an extreme example might be, somebody who's like so anti-abortion. I'm so anti-abortion. And I'm not getting into an abortion discussion. That's not what this is. I'm just saying what could happen is Spirit says, I'm so anti-abortion. And then this person who's so anti-abortion gets themselves into a situation where they have an unplanned pregnancy and a very not wanting to have the pregnancy. And then they're like, oh my God, now I understand why people might want to have abortions. I'm going to go over here and humble myself and say, okay, maybe my black and white thinking should come back into a place of neutrality, and I can show a little bit of compassion and understanding for people, because now this situation has happened to me. So karma has pulled you right back over here, and now we have to go back into neutral because we've collapsed duality. That's how duality collapses. So addictions keep us out of alignment. They keep us in our dualistic attitudes and behaviors. You know, if I just do this, it's going to help facilitate my confidence. It's going to give me my calm. It's going to give me my soothing. And we're going to be like, nope, we're going to pull you all the way back over here until you learn how to do that energy yourself and bring yourself back into neutrality. So that might be reparenting yourself. That might be learning to eat healthier, because if you're all out of here and you're like, oh my God, look at me. If I just eat this donut, I feel better. I feel better. I feel better. I got this under control. I got this under control. And then you get diabetes. Way over here, no more sugar for you, no more eating high carbohydrates, and then you bring this, it slowly works its way back here. So addictions are an extreme out of alignment energetically, and then when we are on this healing path, we are pulled into the opposing energy, and this process of neutralization, purification, purging takes time. It's not going to have the immediate results. It's going to take time. And in this process of purification and coming back into neutrality and coming back into balance and harmony, you will be tempted. You will be triggered. You will be forced to experience the worst shit you can possibly imagine. The worst emotions that you do not want to deal with. They're terrifying. They're terrifying. If they weren't terrifying, you wouldn't be smoking or drinking or having the sex or watching the porn, or you wouldn't be doing those things if you weren't terrified of what's underneath the addiction. And what is underneath the addiction is the emotion. And what is underneath the emotion is the trauma that at first came about at the time that it created that emotion that was never expressed. So, emotions. I have an emotion playlist. When you are terrified of experiencing the emotion, please go watch some of those videos with umpteen tools on how to cope and deal with emotions, or book a one-on-one with me to discuss, I'm going off of this substance and I need some tools to help me when I'm triggered, because when I'm triggered, I start to feel that emotion, that panic, that fear, that childhood memory of the time that this happened or that happened. And these are horrible. They're not easy. That's why this nonsense in the spiritual community of positive vibes only is only going to keep you looping and not ever help you relieve and let go of, heal, transmute, alchemize. I don't care what word you want to call it. The only way through it is through it. You have to feel it. When we take away the training wheels that is the addiction, or the padding, the life vest that is the addiction, the Band-Aid that is the addiction, and we open up the wound gets triggered and poked. Somebody comes along and they're like bang into you, or they swerve in front of you, or they're nasty at work, or they're just nasty because everybody's being triggered at the present moment with the energies as they are. It has nothing to do with you, but they're just in their own thing, and they're like, why are they looking at me like that? Why are they talking to me like that? Why did they say that to me? Who do they think they are? Oh my God, now I'm triggered. Now I need something to calm my nerves. Wait a second. Oh my God, I am feeling things I don't want to feel. I'm feeling panic. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die if I feel this panic. You're not going to die. You're not. Trust me. I understand that feeling. I have been there many, many times. Many of my childhood wounds were such a young age that they're very much connected to life and death thinking. I couldn't move out of my house at age 3. Trust me, I tried. I moved into my garage. It was cold out there and there was no food. And so as I sat in my garage for hours watching spiders, which I was terrified of, and I'd rather be in a cold, airy garage in the middle of winter in Canada than in my house. That's how scared I was. So terror is an emotion that I am very familiar with. And it is terrifying when that child mind is activated and you think, if I let myself have this panic, if I let myself have this fear, if I let myself have this terror, I'm going to die. That is what child mind is going to tell you. That is what ego is going to tell you. It is not what is going to happen. Ego is going to die. Ego is going to lose power because ego has been helping keep all of those things under wraps by assisting you and protecting you by giving you addictions. It was doing its job. It was trying its hardest to figure out ways to keep you safe. And so, hey, I found this, try this. I found this, try this. I found this, try this. And so now in this awakening, what is happening is we are being called to let go of addictions because they no longer work for us. You know, all of a sudden you're a smoker and you have lung disease or you've got bronchitis. It's gotten that bad. You've hit your rock bottom. You're a drinker. Now all of a sudden, when every time you drink, you vomit and you have a 5-day hangover. Now, all of a sudden, with the meds that you were previously taking, you're getting dizzy and you're having stomach aches and extreme nausea. Now, all of a sudden, those foods that you were eating are giving you like extreme reactions. Either you're having rashes or you're having irritable bowel syndrome, you're having explosive bowel movements. You know, these are the extremes of your body saying you've taken this so far out of alignment that you can't go any further. So if you keep doing what you're doing, that is the path that's going to lead you to an earlier grave. Staying in the toxic relationship was slowly killing me. So once we extract ourselves and let go of the addictions, and as I said, addictions can be anything. They don't need to be a substance. So be honest with yourself about where you have attachments to what you need when you are feeling something. When you are feeling triggered, what is it you reach for or think that you need? Is it going for a walk? If it is, that's fantastic. If it's not, and if it's like taking a substance or hopping onto porn or, hopping onto Tinder and looking for a quick hookup, or, texting somebody that is, not your partner, any which way that we can feed the ego so that the ego goes, thanks, great. Now I have strength to keep this under wraps a little bit longer. So we're collapsing ego's power. We're letting go of the addictions because we're forced to. We've hit rock bottom and we're like, I can't take this shit no more. That's it. I'm done. I'm feeling good about it. And now I'm triggered. And now the emotion's coming. And now I'm facing temptation again. And so when temptation comes, understand it is part of the process before leveling up. Are you sure? Are you sure you're ready to let this go? Are you sure you have found coping mechanisms that you're satisfied with? Are you sure? Even Jesus was tempted by the devil in the desert. So are you sure? These are your temptations to make sure that you are sure. And if that means for 3 days, you busy yourself eating ice chips and painting to keep your hands busy so you don't pick up a pack of smokes, then do that. You can create healing strategies for anything once you identify what it is that is like the desire. If your hand is desiring to hold on to something, give your hand something to hold on to. Get one of those fidget rings that you can get, or the fidget toys if you're like, if you're starting to bite your fingernails or something like that, which also was like an addiction of mine from a childhood. It was fingernail biting. I no longer do that, which is great. I have a fingernail. I can't grow fingernails very well, but that's besides the point. So what is it that you need? Oh, I need soothing. Identify what it is, the energy that you need. What does this substance give me that I now can give to myself? Is it sweetness? Is it mothering? Is it what? What do I need right now? 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 Body? What do I need right now? Body will say, you need a nice hot salt bath. You need to go step into a cold shower. You need to go for a walk. You need to sit in the park. You need to listen to your body. Ask your emotions. What can I give you? What do you need right now? You need to listen to meditations. You need to listen to soft music. You need to practice mindfulness and look around the room and remind yourself that you are safe. You need to use affirmations. You need to use mantra. As I said, I'm going to refer again. I did a video of my top healing techniques. I will find the link to it. I will post it at the end of this video so that you can go and watch it if you're struggling to find tools and techniques and strategies that can replace the grasping and the attachment on to all the other things that we need to let go of. We need to let go of. We need to let go of them. We need to learn that it's okay to emote. It is safe to emote. Even when it feels overwhelming, even when you're lying in your bed in puddle pose and you're screaming and you're freaking out. Maybe you just need to rock yourself. It's okay. It's okay. Soothing. Sit in your hammock if you have one and rock yourself, push against the wall and go, there. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Be the mother that you never had. It's okay. It's okay. Be the parent that you never had. Make sure that you're in a safe, and I mentioned this the other day, that you're in an actual safe space, that nobody's around you, that you are, secure in your place. Look around. There's no tigers here. There's no debt collectors here today. There's no policeman at the door. There's no emergency that's pressing. I am allowed to lie in my bed and scream. Scream into your pillow. I am allowed to bang my pillow. I am allowed to cry and wail and emote and stamp my feet and release and release and release. I am allowed. I am allowed. I am allowed. I am allowed. I am safe now to emote. You were not safe then when you were in child mind. You are safe now. You are safe now. You are. So if you need help and you would like somebody to hold space for you while you are releasing the addictions, dealing with the triggers, facing the emotions that are coming and sitting in them, wallowing in them, going into the muck to unfuck them, and you need help as child mind rears its ugly head and you're like, oh my God, I'm having memories of when I was sexually abused. I'm having memories of when I was raged at or hit. I'm having memories and flashbacks of that damn belt or the wooden spoon. Whatever it is, we can sit down and discuss it, okay? So if you would like to book with me, the way to do that is to send off an email to justbebeing@gmail.com. It is in the description of all of my videos. And you can also get in touch with me at Be Freedom on Facebook Messenger. And then I have links somewhere on this, on my main page on the YouTube for Telegram as well. So feel free to send me off an email and let's set up an appointment if you are struggling, because you are not alone. Even if you are on your own, You are not alone. The energies that are happening right now this year are intense. They are going to continue to be intense. I am hit. Others are hit as well. So you are not alone if you're like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming and this is too much. And please, God, help see me through this. Lots of prayer is good. Let us set up a one-on-one. I book by the hour, 2 hour, if you want to do really deep dive into some of the darker stuff and have somebody hold space for you while you emote. I can do that for you. If you would like to join the Spiritual Warrior Support Group on either Sundays or Wednesdays, please hop into the Spiritual Warrior Support Group. The link for that is in the description below, and come on in and join the conversation. It's an open forum for you to talk with other spiritual warriors that are going through the same things. It's sometimes very reassuring, very comforting, and very validating to have somebody else say, you're going through that too? Oh my God, I was feeling that exact same thing last night. That's totally what I was thinking. That's totally what I was feeling. Because this is a collective. We are a collective. We are one. Whether you are in the place where you're like me and feeling collective energies and tapped into it empathically through your clairsentience, through your telepathy, through your claircognizance and clairaudience and all the other clairs, yes, a lot of what you could be experiencing is not even yours in a spiritual awakening. So sometimes we're experiencing emotions and thinking, and you're like, this didn't happen to me. Did this happen to me? Are these memories my memories? I don't think these are my memories. Are they? I've been through that, and that was terrifying because what I saw was horrific. And so, yes, I experienced a lot of other people's stuff. I've also experienced a lot of past life stuff. So if you're going through a Kundalini, understand Kundalini is clearing out the lineage. It's not just clearing out this life. It's clearing out your past lives. It's clearing out your ancestral chain. It's clearing out wounds upon wounds upon wounds. So you'll have overwhelming emotions and you're like, I don't even know where this is coming from. You don't have to know where it's coming from. You just have to know that you are safe, that you are okay, that you will get through it, that this too shall pass, that if you release it, it is being transmuted. So if it has come to you and you're feeling overwhelming angst, anxiety, terror, use your tools, process through it. This could be your initiation as a healer. If you are being called, and I did a video yesterday on the wounded healer archetype, which is an initiation that somebody who has experienced many wounds, many traumas, needs to heal thyself first, and then develop a passion for helping others heal. So, very wounded, very traumatized, lots of vulnerabilities, lots of awareness in regards to narcissistic abuse, what it does to the body, what it does to the emotions, what it does to the mind, what it does to your behaviors, what it does to your spirit, and now impassioned about helping you through the same. So this process of awakening has many layers to it, so many layers, and we are constantly peeling back the layers and purifying out everything and anything that doesn't serve us any longer, or serve the collective, or serve our lineage, or serve our souls' lives that we have been reincarnated time and time again. It's all a giant purge, and it's terrible. It's not fun. It's not high vibes only, although it is. Okay, so let's reclassify what high vibes is, because every time you release, you are raising your vibes. Every time you are in sadness, fear, anger, sacred rage, hatred, disgust, shame, jealousy, anytime you are in any of these emotions and you allow yourself to sit in them and transmute them, you are raising your vibrational frequency because you are becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. I would rather have the jealousy expressed and felt like, oh, wow, I'm really noticing. I'm very jealous of those two. Look at the relationship they have. That's so nice. Why can't I have that? I'm going to sit in this jealousy. I'm going to, comfort my inner child that is jealous. She sees something that she wants. And I'm going to say, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm going to help transmute that energy through so that I no longer have it. So it is released. So it's like giving back to the earth as compost. I'm giving the earth all of my shit. Okay? All of my shit. I don't want it anymore. I'm giving it away. Here, you have it and do something with it. Grow my lovely new self, so that I can fruit new experiences and new wonderful things that I couldn't have even fathomed. I think that's everything I have to say today. I'm hoping as the day goes by, my own temptations will get quieter in my ear because no, I'm not going back to old toxic behaviors. I'm not going back to old toxic thinking. And even though that temptation is there, that temptation is a liar. Is a liar. That all said, peace in. Peace in. Peace in. It's the new way. Peace in.